is wealth. Last time. Health is wealth. Okay, so my name is Ayo, and I am a number of things. So I am a Christian, I am a husband, I am a father,
Hannah, stop.
son, I'm a brother,
Go.
I'm an uncle, I'm a musician,
Stop, I can hear you.
I'm an author, and for a hobby, I'm a consultant in acute medicine. I work in a hospital in up
I'm
north.
trying to do this for Daddy and you're ruining it.
I wanted to come and talk to you because we don't often have an opportunity to speak to our own when it comes to health, and there's lots of evidence that when it comes to health, our people aren't great at engaging. I think that's fair to say. So, let me tell you a story. I was on a ward round, and I started just to feel unwell. I asked the nurse to check my blood pressure. It was high. I asked her to check my blood sugar. It was fine, but I just didn't feel right. I started to have some discomfort on my left side. But I just pushed it to the side, as you do. You carry on working, you carry on doing what you're doing, you push through. I finished the ward round. By the end of the ward round, I was limping. I had a bit of a headache. But, you know, I'll be fine. I'll just keep pushing through. I got home, didn't feel better.
Stop it.
I went to bed, got up again, didn't feel better. Checked my blood pressure again. My blood pressure was, it was over 200 systolic, 240 over 110. I had done everything that I could to avoid going back to the hospital. I'm a doctor, but I did everything I could not to go to the hospital. And then my wife took me to the hospital. This was in the height of COVID, so she couldn't come in with me. And by this time, my symptoms had progressed. I had weakness on my left side. I had a CT scan, which is thankfully fine, but I had... Now, after that, because look at me. If I was walking past you in the street, you wouldn't have thought, this guy, I understand why this guy's had a stroke. Looking at me, I look like I look like I do now. I would have considered myself healthy. But despite that, and despite being a doctor, I don't think I'd actually checked my blood pressure for about 5 years. I was also diagnosed with high blood pressure. So, I'm on medication for high blood pressure now. I've changed my lifestyle. And I'm now on a mission to help people in our community understand the issues. Because the reality is that, unfortunately, there are some things that affect black people more often than our white brothers and sisters. So the first thing is that our bodies retain salt in a way that is higher percentage than other people. So even if you eat the same food, you retain salt, so your blood pressure is likely to be higher. Not only that, but some of the foods that we eat aren't necessarily good for us with regards to maintaining a good lifestyle. So put your hand up if you would like me to give you a luxury car. Put your hand up. A luxury car. So, okay, Hannah, my daughter would like a luxury car in a few years, Hannah. Luxury car, like a Bentley or a Mercedes or so. Okay, this lady in the mustard. Fine, okay. Did you know that you already have a luxury car? I like to liken our bodies that God gave us to a luxury car. Now, let me explain what I mean. When you have a car, what you're going to do with it is you are going to take care of it. Now, a lot of us, one of the things I noticed when I started talking about this stuff, people would come to me and it's like, oh, I've got high blood pressure, and oh, I've had a stroke, and I was wondering, what are you whispering for? There's such a, I don't know what it is about the shame when it comes to health in our community, but you've not done anything wrong. If there's something that you're dealing with, actually talking about it might save somebody's life. Might make somebody check their blood pressure. So let's talk about it. It is. Talking about it doesn't make it any bigger. So if you have a luxury car, do you know what you're going to do? You're going to learn about how to take care of the car. One of the things that we often say, you know, I'm all right, my body's working, it's okay. Now, those of us who have cars, you understand the concept of service, right? And maintenance, yeah? So you take your car every 10,000 miles to the garage, you leave it there, you don't know what to do, some sort of, witchcraft. By the time you come back, the car feels nicer. That's maintenance. Let me ask you, do you know what it is to maintain your body? Do you know the numbers? Do you know what's good for you? I'll admit something to you. Modern Western medicine is fantastic in a crisis. Fantastic. But it's not good for maintenance. Actually, when you have a stroke, when you have a heart attack, when you have a serious infection, go to a hospital. Now, unfortunately, people in my position have extrapolated that and said that we can help with everything every day, and I don't think that's true. The reality is, maintenance is better than an emergency. It's better not to have a stroke than to recover from having a stroke. It's better not to have high blood pressure than to have to cure it. It's better not to have a heart attack than to have to recover from that. So, daddies, mummies, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, when was the last time you checked your blood pressure? In our community, it is such a big deal. High blood pressure is called the silent killer. Do you know why? Because most people with high blood pressure don't have any symptoms at all. And unfortunately, high blood pressure puts you at risk of cardiovascular disease, that's heart, cerebral vascular disease, that's brain, lots of other problems in terms of how your body works. Simply reducing your blood pressure is one of the major things that you can do to live longer, but live in a body that's working for you. Back to the car. If you don't service your car, the car will work, that's not the issue. But is it working at its optimum? That's my challenge to you. Do you know what your body needs in terms of water content, in terms of nutrients? What's good for you in terms of walking? Did you know that regular walking can reduce your blood pressure and you can probably come off medications? Did you know that there are some people who walk regularly, they started with diabetes, because they're walking they don't have diabetes anymore? Me personally, my view is that God had an original plan when He created us. And part of that plan was giving us in the world and a lifestyle that would help us maintain. And a lot of the things that we have done to improve our lives and make ourselves more comfortable has made it harder for us to maintain. Life is comfortable, so we're not challenging our bodies. We've got cars and buses and trains, so we're not walking. We've got computers and phones, so we're not using our brains. All of these things make your body work less well than it was designed to. Do you know what? Actually, one of the things that we hear, do you know what? I'll just pray about it. It's fine. I'll pray about it. Now, I'm a Christian. My parents are pastors, so you're not going to get me on that one. The reality is that the Bible says in James 2:17, add to your faith knowledge. So having faith is not a reason not to know your numbers, not to know what's wrong with you. It also says in 2 Peter 1:5, God does not want, it says, let's add to your faith. It also says, faith without works is dead, right? So what does that mean? It means that because of my faith, there is something I'm going to do. Not because of my faith, I'm going to sit on my hands and do nothing. Yeah? So, informed is armed. Say after me. Informed is armed. There's a verse in the Bible that says, if you're a king and somebody is coming towards you, waging war, you are not going to go to war without realizing whether you've counted your troops and figure out, can I take this guy? So, it is important for you to know your numbers. Does anybody know what normal blood pressure is? What is it? 180 over 20. 120 over 80. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. 120 over, yeah, I knew what you were saying, don't worry. It's not recorded, don't worry, no one's watching. It's 120 over 80. 120 over 80. Now, because I am a consultant in acute medicine, I see people who for years have had blood pressure which is okay. So 135, 140, 150, it is okay for 10 years, and then 10 years later, we're dealing with heart failure, and we're dealing with a stroke, and we're dealing with high blood pressure. So me, I'm very aggressive with treating blood pressure. 120 over 80, that's what your blood pressure should be. The end, no exceptions. And if it's higher than that, my challenge to you is to do something about it. Yeah? Informed is armed. Know your numbers. We've talked about prevention being better than the cure. There are some things that God put in this land, in the earth, to make life better for you, that your body is going to take and heal itself. Back to the luxury car. If I have a car that runs on diesel and I put petrol, is the car going to work? It'll work for a bit. It'll work for about 30 seconds and then it will stop working. Did you know that there is a growing body of evidence to say that actually a lot of the things that we're dealing with in terms of health 10, 20, 30 years down the line is what you're putting in your body today? Have you thought about it? What have you eaten today? Have you thought about whether yourself in 10 years time is going to thank you for what you've done? How much exercise have you done today? How much water have you drunk today? I can see cans, no problem. Yes, praise God, I can see cans. I can see cans. Are the things that you're doing today are you going to be able to thank yourself for in 10 years time? These things are important. Trust me, in a professional capacity, you don't want to see me, because if you see me, something is really wrong. I am begging you, imploring you, change one thing. Change one thing today. If you're not exercising, go for a walk. Did you know that if you walk for 10 minutes every day for a year, by the end of the year you will have done, I think it's 13 marathons. 10 minutes a day. You've got time. Do you know if you drink water, that's what your body needs? Like attracts like. 60 to 70% of your body is water. Your body needs it. Do you know if you reduce your the meat content of your diet, you improve your cardiovascular health? If you try some oily fish, I mean, I'm an African man, I'm Nigerian, so I grew up thinking if I've not eaten meat, I've not eaten. Like, what are you talking about? So is the food coming later? I wouldn't have a vegetarian meal because I thought that was punishment. But the reality is that in the context of giving my body what it needs, I have to be intentional about making sure I'm reducing my meat content. I'm not saying take it out, I'm just saying reducing it. Having some vegetarian meals, having some oily fish, drinking water, making sure you have fresh fruit and veg every day, not every week, every day. Reducing your fried food content. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry. Informed is armed. Know your numbers. Prevention is better than cure. Maintenance versus an emergency. And don't just pray about it. Change one thing. My name is Dr. Ayo. I hope I never see you professionally. Thank you.